like, you know, Aaron and I and my cousin Preston, who does the podcast too, but behind the scenes stuff, like, we're, you know, some of the only, especially in the time of not going to concerts and stuff, some of the only metalheads I get to talk to are on the podcast. And a big thing for me, speaking of, you know, like the same situation as Power Trip, were you or anybody that you know personally a big fan of Children of Bodom and Alexi?
Oh yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Honestly, I remember when I was real young. I want to say like 2005, maybe something like that. 2006, 2007. I don't know, somewhere in that general time period. I was in high school. Me and some of my friends at the time used to cover "Are You Dead Yet?" like in my great grandma's basement where we practiced. Like, yeah. So I definitely, a couple years back, I regret not trying harder, I guess, to make this happen at the time, or not finding a way to make this happen at the time. But we just, because of certain aspects of how we would have gotten to be a part of it, wasn't possible for us at the time. But we got an offer to do a Children of Bodom tour in the U.S.
Oh my God.
And I mean, like, Katie being a keyboardist is a huge Bodom fan.
Oh, no shit.
You know, I saw Bodom when I was like a kid, at the Fillmore in Detroit, actually.
Do you remember when?
It was the No Fear tour. I want to say 2009. It was God Forbid, Municipal Waste, As I Lay Dying, Lamb of God, and Bodom.
Keith, I was at that concert.
Nice. Me too.
Holy shit, dude.
And Alexi had his arm broken because he fell out of his bunk on the way into Detroit. Yeah.
And the next night they canceled the rest of their tour date. That was the last
I didn't
show
know they canceled it.
Yep. That was the last show Bodom played on that tour. Detroit.
Yeah. So I was there.
God damn.
I remember, honestly, I thought As I Lay Dying stole the show. They crushed it.
They did good.
They crushed it, man. I was there for Lamb of God. Like, straight up as a kid, I was there for Lamb of God.
Yep.
But
I'm in Bodom, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I listened to a lot of Bodom at the time, and I was stoked that Bodom was there. And, like, I wasn't big into As I Lay Dying yet, but they had just come out with An Ocean Between Us.
Yep.
Which was masterpiece album.
Yeah.
I liked that one song, To the Fallen Hero from God Forbid. And I had not heard of Municipal Waste at the time.
Oh,
so
they knocked your socks off a little, didn't they?
I just remember the one dude came running out on stage. He did a cartwheel. And he grabs the mic and he's like, "All right, who's ready to smoke beer? This song's about sharks." And I'm like, "What?" And I just was blown away. Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Money.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that was unexpected. But to be real, like, seeing God Forbid, I was like, okay, right on. That was God Forbid. Like, I wasn't like, but they were the first band, so they had like no light show.
Yeah.
They didn't have a whole lot of room up there, and I didn't understand that at the time. I was like a kid that didn't understand like back lines and different support slots and what they're allowed to use and whatever. So I was just like, well, I thought their show would have been cooler. You know, not that they played bad.
No, they're really good.
They couldn't use any production or anything.
Right.
Which I understand now, looking back.
Right.
Municipal Waste didn't need any production. They just were ridiculous.
Yep.
And then Bodom came out, and that's when the lights started and that whole thing. And Alexi's like, "I broke my arm. I fell out of the bunk coming into Detroit." And I was just thinking about all the potholes we hit on the way there. And I'm like, yeah, I bet you did. Yeah, Detroit roads suck, man. Yeah. So I remember seeing that, and then As I Lay Dying blew me away.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my God. I still have like a memory burned into my head of them playing the song An Ocean Between Us and that chorus with the red and the blue lights shooting up. I was like, whoa.
I fucking remember that, dude. Yes.
And Lamb of God was touring on Wrath, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it just came out. I remember.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was the Wrath tour.
Yeah.
Insane.
Well, the No Fear tour. No Fear.
Oh, yeah. Yes. But yeah, well, that's awesome that you got, because I mean, because for me, Bodum was just like one of the biggest bands ever for me, and the loss of Alexi was a real hard way to start the year. And
That ruined my day. Like I woke up and that was like the first news that I heard that day was, did you see Alexi from Bodum died? And I'm like, no, what?
It ruined a solid 2 weeks for me. Like I was down, not really able to get motivated to do anything for like, cause he was like my guitar god. Like I copied his style, like from the way he dresses to the way he plays to the guitars he uses, everything. Like everything to me was Alexi. And so that was just such a big loss. And that was like
definitely tough.
It was the first, because, I'd gone through, like I was a giant fan of Dio when he passed and stuff like that. But
same.
Like, of course, and a Dime, of course. But a lot of them, Eddie Van Halen, but a lot of them are from the old guard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this was
like one, from our generation.
Yes. Yeah. This was the first one of ours that we lost. And I was like, what the fuck? But they did, I don't know if you saw it, but they did announce like yesterday, I believe, that the Bodum After Midnight 3-track EP got announced. It's going to come out on April 23rd on Napalm Records.
Nice.
The title of it is Paint the Sky with Blood. It has awesome cover art, very reminiscent of Hate Crew Death Row to me, or Something Wild. And it has 2 original tracks, Paint the Sky with Blood and Payback's a Bitch. And then the 3rd track is actually a cover, Where Dead Angels Lie, a dissection cover.
Nice.
Yeah.
One of my
interesting band to pick to do a cover.
Right.
I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Yeah.
Right. I thought that was interesting too.
Very cool.
Yeah, we had not talked about that on the podcast yet, but we have not since this year started, haven't stopped talking about Alexi. So I did want to ask you about that and talk about the fact that they do have the final Alexi music being released, Bodum After Midnight.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was terrible news. And I have been thinking about, like, I even remember seeing, because I got to see the tour flyer and everything, like, for the tour that we got offered with them. And we just couldn't make it work. Like,
do you remember which it was? What year?
It was recent. It was recent.
So it might have been a Hexed.
It was like purple.
Yep, Hex
artwork. Yeah, it was that tour that they did in North America. That
son of a bitch. You guys would have been perfect for that. Oh my god.
I can see that.
That's how we felt, but there was other factors at play there.
Fair enough. It happens. It happens.
But we ended up not being able to take it, and I was like, I do want to tour with Bodum someday. And then it just didn't, obviously, because shortly after that, it was the whole announcement that Bodum, all the members quit or whatever. Yeah.
And then he formed Bodum After Midnight. Yep.
Yeah.
Which I was like, maybe we'll tour with Bodum After Midnight. That's cool with me.
Right. Yeah.
Some kind of combination.
And if you guys had been on that tour, it's possible we might have even met, because Aaron and I got like the Sound Rink. We got the Sound Rink tickets, so we got to do the meet and greet and all that shit with them, and
that was at St. Andrews too.
Yeah, that was at St. Andrews, and like Wolfheart opened, and someone else. I can't remember who the other one was.
That was absolutely the tour. I remember them being part of it. Yeah.
It's a big European vibe.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, I felt that we would have been a really good fit.
Yes,
on that one.
Yes, you would have.
Everything like that happens for a reason.